Hey guys, this is Carrie, and in this video we're going to be building our very first website of the entire year, and we're going to be starting to learn how to code and build whatever websites we want. But the first website that we're going to build this year is going to be an About Me webpage, and everyone in the class is going to have their own About Me page. So we'll be able to see about all of us. When we're done with this project, our websites are going to look like this. They're going to have crazy colors, they're going to have images, you can do crazy effects, you can have buttons. You can really do a lot with these. But when we start off today, our web pages are going to look a lot more simple. So, before we get started, let's get started. So we're going to go to replit.com. This is going to be a place where we can build all of our websites. So when you first go to this website, you'll probably have to create an account. So hopefully you did that already. Next, what you're going to do is every time we start a new project, we're going to create a brand new REPL. And REPL is one of the words from this website called Replit. So I'm going to click Create REPL. When we build websites this year, we're always going to be using the three languages HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. So you'll see those in my favorites. But you might have to scroll down here and find them alphabetically, or I'm not sure if they're alphabetically. Make sure you choose the one that's just HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. So I'm going to click that one. Now for the title, it will generate 3 random words, but we want to be a little bit more specific. So I'm going to put About Me 2023. Okay, so I'm going to create my REPL by pushing this blue button. What this does is it actually sets up all of the code and all of the files that I need to build a website, and it actually creates a website for me. The only thing I'm going to have to do is add in the information on the website. So what you'll see when I press Create REPL is it takes me to this environment that looks like crazy coding, and we're going to be understanding this pretty well throughout the whole year. So one thing that I want to highlight is when we created this REPL, and you can see it here on the side, we put 3 different programming languages: HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. And we're going to be using a combination of these to build every single website that we build. And the same 3 languages are used to build every single website on the internet. So you might be wondering, why do I need 3 languages? The reason why is that HTML is going to be all of the content on our web page. All of the words, any titles that we have, any images that we have, any audio or video that we have will be in the HTML code. But websites are not just simply words or audio or video. They're styled to look really cool. You can have crazy colors, borders, images that spin. All of this is style. And in order to add style, we'll be using a new programming language called the CSS. And that will go in a separate file down here. So if I click that, that will be mostly blank to start. And then the last language that we're going to learn is going to be called JavaScript. And that will be in this file here. And JavaScript is the interactability of a website. So when you take an online quiz and it tells you what house of Harry Potter you're in, or when you click a button and it plays a song, or when you type keys on your keyboard and it can control a character in a video game. All of that is going to be the interaction, the JavaScript. In our first unit, we're going to be learning HTML and CSS and saving JavaScript for the rest of the year. But we're going to start out today just doing HTML. So we're going to be adding content to our page. And it's going to look pretty unstyled, but it's going to transform into this cool styled website as soon as we start adding the CSS. But we're saving that for another day. So let's get started with our HTML. So it's made for us a brand new project, and we can switch between these files. But today we're only going to stay in the HTML file, since that's the language that we're writing code in. So what we're going to do is all of the code that we're going to be writing for our website is going to go in the body of our website. So they gave us some code already in the body. We don't want any of that. So what we're going to do is at the start of the body, we're going to go from the hello world all the way down to this last script, highlighting it, and we're going to delete it. And what you'll see here is now we've cleared out all of the words that are inside of our two body tags. In HTML, we always have tags. So this will be the start of the body, and this will be the end. And our whole web page is going to go in between these two tags. So let's get started by adding a title to our website. So I'm going to write H1. And then I'm going to press Tab. And what you'll see is this creates two new tags for me. And these are like parentheses. So everything in between these two H1 tags is going to be a header 1, the biggest possible header on my web page. So I'm going to make that header just say About Me. And whatever words you type in here will be really big on your page. In fact, you might want to see them. So to see your website, what you can do is you can go over here to the little preview window, and you can click Open in New Tab. And now in this new tab, my website is being made. So one thing that I'm going to do actually is I'm going to split up my windows so that I have my About Me over here and my coding over here. And in order to give me some more space, I can actually move this over. Okay, so now my website says About Me. I want to add some more content to my website, so I'm going to add another section of code like this. But I don't want it to be as big. I want to use a smaller title. So this time, instead of H1, I'm going to type H2, and then I'm going to press Tab. And it will make the start of my H2 here and the end of my H2 here. You can see that the ending one will always have the slash. So now I'm going to type all about Carrie. And what I'm going to do next is you'll see that it doesn't automatically change my website. I actually have to go over here and click Reload this page or Control R, or on a MacBook, Command R. So now I've got all about Carrie, and it's a little bit smaller because it's an H2. So next up, what I'm going to do is I'm going to add another title. Actually, before I do this, let's see what happens when I put a word outside of my H2. So I'm going to just put screaming there. And I'm wondering how it's going to look since now it's outside of my H2. Oh, very interesting. It put it down here, and it didn't really make it look the same. Okay. I don't actually want to do that. When we put things on our website, we're always going to mark what they are by putting them inside of these tags. So the next thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to add one more smaller title, and it's going to be an H3. So I'm going to type in H3, tab, and now it will create the start and end of my H3, and everything inside will be, what becomes H3'd. Biography. So I want this to be a smaller header for a little section here where I'm going to write a biography about myself. So let me refresh my page, either using this button or Control R. Okay, so now I've got biography, and you can see that they're getting a little bit smaller and smaller. I'm going to create one more section, another H3, and this one is going to be likes and dislikes. Or, yeah, I'll just leave it like that. I might change that later. And what you can see now, hopefully, is that you're actually allowed to have as many H3s, or H2s, or H1s as you want on your page. Now, my page doesn't have a lot of information on it. And what you'll see as we're building these is that the more information you put on your page, the more you're able to style, the cooler it's going to be, the better it's going to look. So I'm going to add a little bit of a paragraph here, a biography about myself. And you can be as serious as you want in this, or you can make it kind of a joke about yourself, as long as it's school appropriate. You don't have to be completely truthful in your biography. But we're going to be adding some paragraphs of information to these sections here. So to add a paragraph, we're going to do something different. I'm going to press enter, And I need to know what is the right tag for me to mark a paragraph. So paragraphs, actually, there is no really big paragraph or medium paragraph. All paragraphs are just P. So after my biography, I pressed enter twice to create a little room. I typed P, and I'm gonna press tab. And now that will make my P tag. So all of the words that I type in here are gonna become just a regular paragraph about me. And you should actually fill in this paragraph with some information about you. Again, it doesn't have to be entirely truthful, but having content on your page is really important because then we can style it and add cool things to it. Without content, our page is blank. So I'm gonna go over to the other window and I'm gonna press refresh. And now I can see that it's added a paragraph. Just to fill things out a little bit more, I put some starter text over here. And I'm going to add some of that information so that we can see what our paragraph looks like if I add some more information to it. So I'm going to go over here again and I'm going to refresh it. And you can see now that the paragraph's a little bit fuller. It's starting to look a little bit more like a web page, even though it doesn't have style or anything like that. So we should try to write a fuller paragraph. So one thing that's a little bit tricky, and I might leave this as a challenge for you guys, is to figure out how to write a second paragraph. You can definitely put a paragraph down here. Actually, I made it sound like this is going to be tricky. This part is not tricky. If you want to type a paragraph, we just use the same tag, P, and then we press tab. And now I'll paste in the same information here. And I'll have another paragraph here. So I'll refresh there. And you can put as many enters as you want on your page to separate it out a little bit. I like to put a little bit of an enter between this paragraph's end and the start of this new H3. That way they look a little bit more distinct in my code. So now I've got a couple of paragraphs about myself, and pretty soon I'm going to be ready to start to style these and make these look cool. You don't have to do likes and dislikes. You could write about your hopes for the future, like what colleges you want to go to, or what you want to major in when you're in college, or what you want to do professionally. You can even add other sections by adding more H3s. All right, so hopefully you found this to be an interesting start to coding, and you're ready to fill out some of the information on your webpage with more details about yourself, so I can get to know you, your sense of humor maybe, something about you. As well as now that we have to have content on our page so we can style it. Bye.